Welcome to our continuing study into biblical covenants. Before I start, I'd like to give a shout out to where we filmed this at. This is the Museum of the English Bible in Cumberland, Maryland. Now, at the museum, we display pages from historic Bibles and other documents starting in the 1400s all the way to the modern day. Right now, the museum is closed because of COVID-19 restrictions and because we close anyway after Thanksgiving for the winter. Now, circumstances are favorable. We will open again sometime in March around Easter. So let's look at our covenant for today. And that is the Noahic Covenant. As the name sounds, this was the covenant God made with Noah. Where do we find this covenant? Well, it's in Genesis. Chapter 8 starts at verse 20 and goes through chapter 9, verse 17. And this is the passage. Noah built an altar to God and took of every clean animal and of every clean flying creature and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma, and the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground because of mankind, nor will I again destroy every living thing, as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you will be on every wild animal of the earth, and on every tame animal of the earth, and on every flying creature of the sky, and on everything that crawls on the ground, and on all the fish of the sea. Into your power they are given. Every moving thing that lives will be food for you. As I gave the green plants, I now give you everything. But flesh with its life, its blood, you shall not eat. And surely I will require a reckoning for your lifeblood. From every animal I will require it, and from humans. From every human being I will require it for the life of his fellow human being. Whoever takes a human life, by a human will his life be taken. For God made humankind in his own image. And as for you, be fruitful and multiply, and increase abundantly on the earth, and subdue it. God spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And as for me, look, I establish my covenant with you and with your offspring after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the flying creatures and the tame animals, and every wild animal of the earth with you, of all that go out of the vessel. I will establish my covenant with you, and all flesh will never again be cut off by the waters of the flood. Neither will there ever again be a flood to destroy the earth. God said, This is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I set my rainbow in the cloud, and it will be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. It will happen, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the rainbow will be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters will no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. The rainbow will be in the cloud. I will look at it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between me and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. God said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. This covenant was made with Noah after he and his family came out of the ark, after the flood was over. Now this covenant is an unconditional covenant. Noah and his family did not have to do anything. They were the receivers of these promises. So what's in this covenant? Number one, God promises that he will not curse the ground again. Again is the important word here. The Adamic covenant is still in effect. This is the one that cursed the ground to have thorns and thistles and to be difficult to farm. That covenant is still in effect. God decided not to add anything to it. Number two, God promises that he will not destroy all living things with a flood again. Number three, God promises a natural order to weather with seasons. Number four, Noah and his family is given the command, just like the one given to Adam and Eve, to be fruitful and multiply. They are to repopulate the earth. Number five, the nature of nature is again changed. Animals will now fear people. Why? Well, because now we can eat them. Remember that previously in the garden, all animals were vegetarians. Well, that restriction is now removed. And this change isn't just for people. It's not just for the humans. This also applies to the animals. Now the animals are allowed to prey on each other. So nature, the whole concept, it has changed. Number six, the first reference is made to a law allowing capital punishment for murder. Number seven, there was a sign given by God that this covenant will remain in effect. And that's the rainbow. The rainbow is God's confirmation, his signature, if you will, and a constant reminder both to him and to us as human beings that this contract is in effect. So what's the conclusion of this covenant? Well, because it's an unconditional covenant, this covenant continues to this day. It will remain in effect alongside the Adamic covenant until, as we're told in the book of Revelation, that God will destroy the earth with fire and bring in a new heaven and a new earth. Now, like in the Adamic covenant, we are still living right now under this covenant.